Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to be here. It's a very different layout this morning. Feel as though I'm in a theater, and we even have a stage. But I can assure you I'm not looking down on you today. We're on the same level. We're all sinners saved by grace, right? Right. Okay. So I pray that as we come together in this fashion to worship the Lord, and He will be very close to us. He has promised where two or three are gathered, He'll be right there in the midst to bless. So I'm very pleased to be here and to hear all the prayer requests today, because we believe in God hearing our prayers and answering. And our brother here spoke of a relative, a friend who after stroke is getting better. That's the God we serve. He's still in the healing business. I was thinking of the centurion. The centurion was he was a Roman soldier who held a high office. He had 100 men under him. He went to Jesus to ask healing for his servant. And Jesus wanted to go to his house. He told him that much. We read in Matthew chapter 8, starting at verse 8 there or thereabouts. And it says, Lord, I'm a man under authority with people under me. To this one I say, come, he comes. To the other one I say, go, he goes. But, so I'm not worthy for you to come under my roof. There seemed to be a paradox there, because he was a man of some standing. And he was saying to Jesus, I'm not worthy. What's that all about? Well, he was not worthy because he was not a Jew. He was a foreigner. Yeah? He was a foreigner. And a Jew, in the same way as a Jew was said to have no dealings with the Samaritans, this man did not want to contravene any of the norms, the customs, by saying to Jesus, yes, you can come in my house, because that was a taboo. Right? And so it said, speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. He's in the healing business today. But I just thought I'd share that with you. Because the way I wanted to start is by asking the children in particular, what is the word I'm looking for here? Something that is believed. Something that is believed. Especially with strong conviction. What do you call that word, youngsters? Something that is believed with strong conviction. What's that word that sums that statement up? Anybody? The children are a bit coy this morning. What about the rest of us? Something that is believed with strong conviction. What do you call that? What word do you attach to that? Sorry? Faith. Love, faith. I think our sister here is traveling all the way from Preston, is it? You say Preston. Is it just a one-off? Or do you live in this area? Or you come to the exams? Well, you've passed with flying colors. Look at the congregation here, and you got the answer. I mean, have faith in yourself. You're gonna do good, right? Yeah. Faith. That strong fiction. It is something that you do not see its evidence with your natural eyes. You see through the eye of faith, like that man there, that centurion. You don't have to come to my house, Lord. I'm not worthy. I'm a foreigner, and your norms are this. Your tradition is that you just can't walk into my house. You know, I'd love you to come, no doubt, but I don't want to contravene in it. He had respect, regard. Christian faith. It says here, because our time is limited, let's just turn here and we look at a few people of faith. One of whom is Job. You know, Job is a man of great faith. He was the richest man anywhere about in the East. You could say he was filthy rich. He had camels and he had horses and he had sheep and he had goats and he had everything that your heart desired. Thriving children, everything going good for him. And all of a sudden, everything started failing like a pack of dominoes, falling one by one after the other, after the servants came and said, this has happened and that has happened. And he was going back, then another one was passing him on the way and said, hey, guess what's happened now? And one thing after another, a snowball effect, until Job lost everything. Not just his wealth, not just his children, because those friends in fact would come to visit Job and they would sit there for 7 days. They sat there, no word of comfort for Job. He lost everything. And then his wife came along. Job, look at you. You're an offense. We can smell you before we see you, Job. Why don't you just curse God and die? Get it over with. Job reprimanded her. And Job said, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Job said, I know that my Redeemer lives. And even though a worm destroys this body, yet I know that in my flesh I will see God. I will see him for myself. Not just through the eye of faith, but in reality, I will see him for myself. You know, we live in a world today, if you're listening to the news, where people, a bill is going through Parliament now, that if you're sick and you have less than 6 months or less to live, then it's coming to a place where the doctors can give you a pill or something. They turn their backs and you can take it yourself and end it all. Job has something to say about that. Life is life. You know, and I thought about that. I thought, what's new? What's new? They just want to put the onus in your hands because, sorry to say, they've been doing it for a long time. They've been sending people, you just want to go in the hospital. Oh, please, I don't want to depress anybody. But go there, as in the case of my mom, let her go. Let her go. She's lived her life. Just let her go. Let nature take its course. And time after time, you know, those people in the high authority, and they would put DNR. Do not resuscitate. Anything happens, just let her go. Let him go. Talk about caring profession. Oh, my dear mother lived a good 6 or more years after that first time when they put the DNR. And I hadn't even noticed it myself. It's that little lady out there. Did you know that this is on Mom's notes? What? And then I saw red. You know, life is life. You know, as I said to them, if it was not good enough to send Professor Stephen Hawkins to his rest, if it was good enough for him to be alive today, it's good enough for this lady. She loves life. She loves her God. She loves her family. They want to come and see her, to spend time with her. You know? But we do not know, do we? We do not know. But what we know, like Job is saying, I know that my Redeemer lives. Have faith. Hold on. Oh, prayer was said for dear brother Norman this morning, and thank you, brother, for that lovely prayer you prayed. All those names that were mentioned here, you would call them. And I'm sure there were more, and I pray the Lord will hear all those silent prayers. God is God. Don't give up. Don't give up. Have faith. I jotted down about a certain factory in town. If you go into Northampton, past the police station, past what is now Aldi, and then you go over down the road towards St. Michael's Road, there's a factory there. It used to be Hawkins Shoe Factory. How did Hawkins manage to build the largest factory in Northampton? Maybe the largest shoe factory in Britain. Building and supplying shoes for the army, shoes for Queen Victoria, shoes for Hillary, the guy who climbed the Mount Everest in 1953. That man was a Seventh-day Adventist. He was a Seventh-day Adventist. Why did he build that factory? Because of faith. As a Seventh-day Adventist, he could not find employment in which he did not have to work on the Sabbath. Right? And I know some of us, we have difficulties there. And so, as a cobbler, as a shoemaker, he made a few samples. And he sent these to London. And he was blown away. In those days, people would make just a few shoes in a shed in the back garden. That's the way it was in those days. But he was inundated with orders, right? And so he had that factory built. And it remained there for 100 and many, many years after that. It's only just been closed a couple decades or so ago. And that factory is now being converted into luxury flats, right? But it was an Adventist man from Rushden, and he believed he was going to keep the Sabbath come what may, and the Lord opened doors of opportunity to him. And the Lord, if you're having problems in that area, trust God. Go in faith. Without faith, we are told it is impossible to please God. But how am I going to feed my children? How am I going to pay my rent, my mortgage, my this and that, my car, and whatever? Trust God. Put your faith in him. Let's see what else I've jotted down here. I think I said something about Hannah. Hannah was a woman of faith. She was being taunted by her, by the other wife of her husband. Being taunted because the other woman had all these boys and maybe girls, and she rubbed it in her face, in dear Hannah's face, and she was very troubled. And so Hannah found herself in the temple, in the house of God. You know, sometimes when things are not going right for us, we think, I'm not going back to church. I want to have nothing more to do with God. Hey, that is when you need God most. You need him when you're happy. You need him when you're sad, when things are going good and things are not going so good. And so Hannah found herself in the house of God. And there she prayed. We read the story in 1 Samuel chapter 1. And then she went into the house of God and she prayed. But only her lips moved, the Bible tells us. And there she prayed. You know, and people will get you wrong sometimes. They see you in a certain posture, in a certain situation, and they jump to conclusions about you. You know? And so did Eli. He went over to her, woman, when are you going to give up the bottle? How dare you come into God's house drunk? You know, some people, if the pastor approach you like that, you just seize the opportunity and tell him where to get. You know, if it's the elder, if it's somebody else, they just want to give you a piece of their mind. You know, they say some people, they are so fond of giving a piece of their mind that at the end of the day, they have no minds left. They give it all away. Yeah. But Hannah, no, not so with her. She was respectful. No, sir, I am praying because. And the old man said, may the Lord grant to you what you ask for. May the Lord answer your prayer. And Hannah prayed for a son whom she would give back to the Lord. And so she did. You know, there are those of us who at times when our backs are against the wall and we pray for God to extract us from such predicaments, and we make all kind of promises, but a week or two down the road we forget, don't we? And we return to form. But Hannah didn't. Hannah kept her word, and Hannah did ask for one son. But the Lord blessed Hannah with several more sons. God is God. Don't lose faith, trust, confidence in him. Just keep on trusting. In Numbers chapter 21, we read the story about those days as the children of Israel were going through the wilderness and through the desert, through the desert and through the Red Sea and everything, and they were always moaning and complaining. And the Lord sent fiery serpents. If we read that passage, the Lord sent fiery serpents, poisonous, venomous serpents, which attacked the people. And the people were crying, why? Another one, crying over here, over there, everywhere. And the Lord said to Moses, put a serpent, a bronze, ask for their whatever metal, and then from that you make a serpent, a bronze serpent, and put it on that pole, and everybody who is bitten by the snake, by the serpent, all they need to do is to look on that pole, and they will be saved. Can you see the picture? Somebody, your son, your daughter, your husband, somebody precious to you got bitten, and you rush over and said, son, daughter, husband, look on the pole, look on that pole. Look at the bronze serpent on that pole. Some looked. Hey, the venom is gone from my body. You know, I'm okay. Others, no, I don't want to make a fool of myself. I don't want to look at some serpent. Is that who bit me in the first place? And you want me to look? Please look. Just look. And today is the same, isn't it? We've all been bitten. All we need to do is to look to Jesus through the eye of faith, and we'll be all right. Dear brothers and sisters, we're living in dangerous times. We're facing giants of all sorts. David had to face a giant in the form of Goliath. He faced Goliath. And Goliath, am I a dog that you come to fight me with a sling and with stones? You come to me with your sword and shield and your armor on. But I come to you in the name of the Lord. David, that little boy, that young whom his brothers accuse, you only come here to watch the battle. Why don't you stay with the sheep and do your job? People will accuse us at times. They'll get us wrong as to our mission. But just keep going on. Have faith when there seems to be no way. Just keep on keeping on. We have that chapter there, Hebrews chapter 11. In Hebrews chapter 11, we find all those people of faith. Abraham, and we have Jephthah, one of my favorite Bible characters, Jephthah. We have Enoch. We have Noah. And the Lord said to him, build an ark. Laughing, no doubt. And people were joking about this ark. What is that there? It was, people say, let's go and look at Noah's folly. Let's go and have a look at this thing that Noah, the man has taken leave of his senses. But Noah just kept going. For 120 years he built. They had never seen rain before. But because God said it's going to rain, Noah believed. Brothers and sisters, there are times we cannot see, we do not know. But trust God. You can't see the way ahead. Trust God. He said, the Lord called Abraham to leave his country, as most of us here today have left our country, and to sojourn. Said, I will make you a great nation. Through you all the families of the earth will be blessed. And Abraham journeyed from place to place to place. And the Bible tells us that he lived in tents, a nomad, but he looked for a city that had foundations, whose builder and maker is God. I pray, brothers and sisters, friends, that the same will be for us. We'll build on the rock, that solid rock. And I'm conscious I've only referred to certain passages without reading a single one to you. But let me just leave you with one, which is Psalm 84. Psalm 84, where the psalmist, I say, and I'm not necessarily speaking of the psalmist being David, because if you look at that Psalm 84, wasn't written by David at all. It was written by the sons of Korah. And I know that there are those of you who know who Korah is or was. He was the man who, along with Abiram and Dathan, they opposed Moses. And the ground opened and swallowed them up and all their possessions. But here we find the sons of Korah, his descendants. And they're saying, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of God than to dwell in tents of wickedness. We are not gravitating to what our forebears, our ancestors wanted, to be leaders, to oust you, Moses. No, I'm just happy in God's house. Just keep coming. Maybe you have not ascended to the heights of materialism and all those things. But like those men and women of faith, we have a glorious future. He is going to prepare a place for us. We are told in John chapter 14, and because I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. I am, you will be there also. And we should encourage one another with these words. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. And may you grow in faith. Keep the faith, and the faith will keep you. Amen.